The Houston Texans are the only one-win team through 10 weeks of the NFL regular season, which means they're the front runner for the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. Before we get into any of that, drop us a like. Make sure you subscribe to catch us talking sports every single day. And drop a comment like my boy Charles Camp. He knows us. He knows that we're up every morning talking sports.
Oh, yeah.
So, but
Every
let's get
day.
in today's little discussion here about these Houston Texans. What would you do if they end up with the number 1 pick in the 2023 NFL draft? Who do you select there? Or do you even select there? Do you try to trade back? What's the word? What do you think?
I mean, they do have enough holes to tempt you to trade back, but they already have 2 top 15 picks as it stands right now.
Right.
One could end up being 2 top 10 picks by the end of the year, and obviously the number 1 overall pick, the most valuable pick of the draft. It would be really hard to justify trading back, especially when they need a quarterback.
Absolutely.
Like Davis Mills, he is a solid guy. He is one of those spot starters that probably will have a long career in the league. One of these guys that'll come in, play a little, not do terribly, and be fine. But he's not that guy that's going to bring them to that next level.
Right.
And that's why I think they got to go quarterback. And I'm going to go with the more traditional route. I'm going to go with CJ Stroud, the big, strong quarterback from Ohio State.
Yeah.
I just think that he brings what the Texans need in terms of being able to get the ball out, doing so in an efficient way. He actually is one of the top quarterbacks in the NCAA right now. He is just very solid. I just trust his body, his positioning a little bit more than I do Bryce Young, who's probably the next quarterback on the list.
That's fair. I personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable drafting CJ Stroud number 1 overall. With the number 1 pick in the draft, I just wouldn't feel comfortable. Obviously, CJ Stroud is a hell of a talent. He's been playing his ass off the last couple of seasons at Ohio State. He's just a hell of a player, and I like him a lot. What he does on the field and the type of person he is off of it. But in terms of him being the number 1 guy taking the draft, it's just first off, it's Ohio State, right? So the Ohio State quarterbacks in the recent history haven't been great, but
the receiving core is pretty decent.
Exactly, but we're gonna take Justin Fields out of the equation right now because we know he's burgeoning into an NFL superstar. But besides that, obviously Ohio State doesn't have a great track record when it comes to NFL quarterbacks. But where is CJ Stroud at his best? I would argue he's at his best in a clean pocket, dropping back and delivering accurate strikes to very talented wide receivers. And when you're drafted number 1 overall, it's going to be a messy situation. You're probably not going to have a great offensive line. You're probably going to be running for your life a lot. And I don't know if CJ Stroud is at his best when that's what he has to do. Bryce Young, on the other hand, I think that's when he's at his best. I think that's when he thrives. And we were seeing a lot of that this season on an Alabama offense that doesn't have a lot of the star power that we're used to seeing in Alabama teams. So Bryce Young would be the guy that I think should absolutely be taken number 1 overall in the 2023 NFL draft. I think he's the best quarterback in college football. I understand the height, and the weight, 6 foot, just around 200 pounds. That's going to cause some issues, especially because we know the NFL is a man's game, and the quarterback position is something that gets hit every chance the defender, gets a chance. So that's going to be something, to worry about. But again, it's the stuff that he does off schedule when he's under pressure and you can get out the pocket and create plays. That's what the NFL game is all about. That's what Bryce Young has. I think he's the best quarterback prospect in this draft.
Yeah, but for me, you mentioned the Ohio State quarterbacks not having a good track record. Obviously, Tua is doing his thing right now. Can't really argue Tua. But before he got Tyreek and Jalen, what was he doing? Even had Jalen, what was he doing?
He was winning. He was winning games. He wasn't in the MVP conversation like he is now. Of course not. I mean, it's going to take help. Of course, like any quarterback.
Bryce Young would definitely need help. Obviously, they're probably not going to have Brandon Cooks, and who knows?
No doubt.
They have Dameon Pierce, good little running back, but not a lot of receiving.
So I think this really just comes down to who I think can do better.
What happened to Tua this year too when he got hit? What happened? I mean, he got hit hard. And he doesn't have that same prototypical size. He's another one of these undersized guys at the quarterback position. That's a scary proposition. And when it's an Alabama quarterback, it's easy to compare him, but it's just, Bryce Young, one hit, it could be over. And we saw that with Tua, and I don't know, it's a little bit scarier.
I don't think that should prevent you from drafting somebody like him. We've seen smaller quarterbacks. We've seen Tua. We've seen Drew Brees. We've seen Kyler Murray. We've seen guys even recently. Drew Brees had his own injury,
which he overcame.
Of course, but he's also a Hall of Famer. He's also a Hall of Famer. So, this is just what we're heading towards. I think the quarterback position is getting smaller. It's getting because we want these guys who can get out of the pocket and create plays with their legs. And that doesn't come in Josh Allen bodies.
Real quick, you
than
mentioned that Justin Fields, we shouldn't mention him as an Ohio State quarterback. Well, CJ Stroud just passed his passing touchdown mark at Ohio State. So, I mean,
CJ Stroud he's a
dog.
CJ Stroud is, I would argue, probably even a more talented passer than Justin Fields.
I'll have to see.
But I don't know if CJ Stroud is going to snip the type of player that Justin Fields is or
Not
will
with his
be
legs.
in the NFL. Certainly not with his legs. But let us know in the comments about what you think this predicament the Texans will soon find themselves in, what they should do, who they should draft #1 overall should they get it. Let us know. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos and don't forget to smack that subscribe button down below while you're at it. Also, for more great and original content, head right over to bvmsports.com.